Should Ben Simmons be considered an NBA MVP candidate? Next on the Skill. Boy! Welcome to another exciting episode of Skill. I'm your host, King Coopa J, and today we're going to be talking about why Ben Simmons should be considered an NBA MVP candidate. What up to all my subscribers? How you guys feeling today? I'm feeling great, so let's get into this Ben Simmons discussion. 1, we're going to talk about why Ben Simmons should be considered an NBA MVP candidate. 2, I'm going to list the NBA players who are considered MVP candidates after just the first 9 games. 3, I'm going to talk about why these players should and shouldn't be ranked. 4, at the end of this video, I'm going to compare Ben Simmons' stats to all of these players' stats. 5, there is no 5. Let's just get into it. Now, all of these players are legit candidates for the 2018 MVP. They're from the NBA.com Key Watch list. Now, there's 10 players on this list, but I'm only going to key in on 5. But I am going to list all 10 just so you can see what it looks like. Now, number 10 on this list, they had Andrew Wiggins. Number 9 was Kevin Durant. Number 8 was Kyrie Irving. Number 7 was LeBron James. Number 6 was Stephen Curry. Now, the top 5 is who I really want to key in and focus on. Okay, number 5, Blake Griffin. Now, I don't really have a problem with Blake Griffin. He's averaging 22 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's great, especially coming off that injury and then losing Chris Paul. You would think the Clippers wouldn't be in this predicament, but they are, and he's considered an MVP, and they're winning games. To me, his stats are not that bad. I mean, 22 points a game and 8 rebounds, that's legit, but Blake Griffin should be at least around a double-double to really be considered an MVP in my eyes. Number 4 on this list is DeMarcus Cousins. He's averaging 30 points per game, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists. That's nasty. This is what I see wrong with the Cousins thing. His team is 4-5. If the season ended right now, they will not be in the NBA playoffs. He don't know how to win games. He did the same thing with the Sacramento Kings. They didn't win no games, and he had high averages. Now, you averaging 30 points a game, and you can't pop the top teams in the Western Conference, or at least the other teams that will oppose a threat to your team. That's not MVP-like. The other thing I have a problem with is he leads the team in every stat category. So apparently you don't make players around you better. Okay, I love that you're averaging 30 points a game, like 13 rebounds and 6 assists. But that's not making people around you better. That's not winning games. You have another superstar around you and Anthony Davis, and you guys are sitting at 4-5. He's averaging 30 points a game just like you, and he also should be considered a top MVP candidate. Both of you guys are considered the best centers in the game. There's no excuse. You should be winning games. Number 3 on this list, they consider Russell Westbrook. I don't have a problem with that. He had a triple-double last year and won MVP. This year, not so great. If his team lost today, they would not be in the playoffs. Again, the same situation as DeMarcus Cousins. You have great stats, but you guys ain't winning no games. Now, I know some people are like, oh, it's the chemistry, King Coopa J, it's the big 3, they just got together. No, forget all that. That's what the preseason is for. If you feel like your team don't have chemistry, you shouldn't be playing those rookies in preseason. You should be starting your starting 5 and building that chemistry then. There's no excuse not to be winning games. OKC should be at least 7-2 right now. They lost some key games to Boston, T-Wolves, and the Jazz. Now, T-Wolves and Jazz are considered top teams in the Western Conference. You have to pop them. Number 2 on this list is James Harden. I don't have a problem with James Harden. He balled out last year and was considered an MVP. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to compare James Harden's stats to Ben Simmons, right? And you're going to see why Ben Simmons could at least be ranked number 2. Moving on, the last person on this list at number 1 was Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, Giannis is a baller. Greek the Freak. Balling right now. His team is 4-5 right now. After 9 games, they will not be in the playoffs. He leads his team in every stat category. That means there's nobody on his team at all. And it also means that players around him are not getting better. They're third in their division. Detroit, Indiana, Cleveland, all ahead of this guy. Actually, they're tied with Cleveland. But in Cleveland, you got another MVP candidate, LeBron James, and I just got popped by them. You can't do that if you're going to be the most valuable player. 10th in the East, tied with the Cavs. LeBron or him wouldn't go to the playoffs right now if the season ended. Sucks. So how can you consider this guy an NBA MVP when they're not winning games like that? You know what it is? It was the hype. It was the hype at the beginning of the season with Giannis Antetokounmpo, but at the same time, I like the hype and I appreciate the hype, and he should be considered number 1, but at the end of the day, you're not winning games, bro. You're not making people around you better. Y'all not going to the playoffs right now. Got to get those W's. Now let's talk about Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons' team is 5-4. They're 3rd in the Atlantic Division, their division. They're also 5th in the Eastern Conference, so they are a playoff team if the season ended today. They wasn't last year. It's a big improvement because of who? One guy, Ben Simmons. not one, but 2 triple-doubles in the first 9 games of the season. One against Detroit, in which they won 97-86. My man balled out. He had 21 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists. Come on, man. Detroit right now is like number 2 in the East. And they're also in Giannis Antetokounmpo division, and he lost to them. He popped the Pacers, another team that the Bucks lost to. Dropped a triple-double on them. 14 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. Go ahead, Ben Simmons. That's MVP-like. He's averaging 18 points a game, 8 assists, 10 boards. That's sick for a rookie. He's the first rookie since Oscar Robertson has these type of numbers. That's like 1960. And also, he is the first rookie since Oscar Robertson to have a triple-double within the first 4 games. Not Michael Jordan. Not Kobe Bryant. Not LeBron James. None of these guys dropped a triple-double in their first 4 games like Ben Simmons. Just on that alone, that's NBA Rookie of the Year. Now let's talk about MVP. Okay, now that we talked about all that team stuff and records, let's get into some of these guys' actual individual stats. Now, Blake Griffin is averaging 22 points a game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. That's good. Okay, but look at it like this. You got Ben Simmons on the other hand, 18 points a game, 8 assists, 10 boards. That's pretty much the same. Ben Simmons could at least be number 5 on this list. DeMarcus Cousins, 30 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Those are extraordinary numbers. Great numbers for a big man. You look at Ben Simmons' stats, that's not too far off from where he's at. And the fact that they got DeMarcus Cousins number 4 on this list with the stats that he had is crazy. So it must mean something if points don't really factor in like that. Russell Westbrook. Now this is the matchup I really wanted to key in on because for one, Russell Westbrook has similar stats to Ben Simmons. All right, let's check it out. 19 points a game, 18 points a game, 9 rebounds per game, 10 rebounds per game, 11 assists per game, 8 assists per game. These guys are neck and neck, and Russell is number 3, and his team is not in the playoffs. Ben has the same type of stats. His team is in the playoffs. 2 triple-doubles in the first 9 games. Ben Simmons could be number 3. Come on. James Harden. Now, I told you I'm going to break James Harden's stats down. It's kind of weird when you compare him to Ben Simmons. Okay, James Harden, 26 points per game, 4.8 rebounds per game, 9 assists. His team is winning. But he is 1-1 with Ben Simmons. The first game James Harden popped him, Ben Simmons came back and then popped him. Now check this out. This is going to be kind of weird, but true sports fans will understand what I'm talking about here. Assists equal points. Now if you take 26 points per game and you take at least 4 points off of that, where would you be at? 18 points. Now if you look at it like this, James Harden is averaging 18 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds. That's the same as Ben Simmons. You could take 4 assists away from Ben Simmons, which will drop him down to 5, and then add it to his point total, which will bring him up to 26. It's the exact same as James Harden. Ben Simmons could be number 2. Giannis Antetokounmpo, number 1, 31 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5.3 assists. Now look at this. It's the exact same as DeMarcus Cousins, who is number 4 on this list. And also, both of these guys are losing. They're not in the playoffs. Now, you look at Ben Simmons' stats, right? We just compared him to Russell Westbrook. He's on his way to a triple-double, right? Giannis is having an extraordinary season. That's what people were saying. That's what the hype is. But not really, because his extraordinary season is not outdoing the season Russell Westbrook had last year. And Russell Westbrook had 31 points per game while averaging a triple-double. So I peg it just like this. If Giannis can't win games and win key matchups against key players and other MVP-like candidates, he shouldn't be number 1. I'm just being honest. I'm just a realist. Sorry. Thank you for watching another episode of The Skill. And if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Peace.